Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. Tonight, if you're thirsty, oh, do I have water. If money were water, I'll show you how much money we would be saving. Wait, I actually wanted to do this with 100 gallons of ice cream, but I'm not going to fit on the screen soon. Come on, let's go. We got a lot to do. Well, hello, America. You know, symbols mean something. Anybody who's read the new Dan Brown book probably developed at least a passing interest in symbolism in the icons that we see every day. But let me show you something I find fascinating about two of history's most important icons. Stay with me. This is all going to make sense. Maybe, hopefully today. Maybe someday. Let me show you first. This is a picture of the Colossus of Rhodes. And they didn't have, you know, digital cameras or iPhones in 280 BC. So this is an artist's rendering of what it was. This was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. It took 12 years to build. It stood about 107 feet high. I believe that's the height of the Statue of Liberty. It was, you see the boats down here. I mean, you can get a sense of how huge this thing was. We're not sure, but we think that it was in somewhat of a slouched or relaxed position because of the confidence felt by the people of Rhodes. They had become an important economic port in the ancient world and felt invincible. I don't even know where Rhodes is, do you? It's interesting to note that it stood for less than 50 years. The torch, the crown. Look familiar? 50 years this thing stood, and then it was knocked down by an earthquake. And then it laid there in rubble for 800 years as people came from all over the known world to see its great fall. Got it? Now, let me contrast this with the Statue of Liberty. Here's the Statue of Liberty. This was built by the French. And it wasn't really, I mean, it was a gift from the French to us, but it really was meant to wake Europeans up out of their system of liberty that was modeled after the Colossus of Rhodes. This was really a thumb in the eye of Europe. But the difference in its stance speaks volumes, and it was meant to. First of all, you'll notice that he's holding arrows and a bow, right? What is she holding? She's holding the tablet of law. If you notice also on her feet, there's the tablet of law. Go to her feet here. Give me a full screen of her. There you go. You notice her feet. She's standing like this, where she's almost on the balls of her feet, and she's moving forward. Her arm and torch is outstretched to the world. She's going this way while she's holding the tablets that signify the law, the Constitution that enables her to move forward and, give me the other picture of her feet, please, here, to break free of the chains that the European system had put in place. She's able to move forward. I want to ask you a question. Is this still our stance? Or is this our stance? Whatever. I contend we're not following the law anymore. We haven't broken free. We're not looking at the Constitution anymore. We're forging chains again. The American people have always moved forward, but our government is not moving with us. Let's go through a couple of examples, and this is a question I want you to ask yourself. Did he keep his promise? There's really only one thing that we have that will save us, and that is honor, the truth. The truth shall set you free. That's what I think people were looking for when they said they wanted change in Washington. They wanted somebody just to tell them the truth. Well, let's look at some of these things. First, the American people have said no to health care. Even the people in Massachusetts that have this kind of health care say it doesn't work. Well, Obama said again yesterday that he's going to try to push health care through anyway. Why? Well, it's the progressive mentality, and we're going to get into a little bit of that maybe hopefully tomorrow. But part of that is that they can gain the power they need to control every aspect of your life. They are now controlling the message. I want to ask you, did he keep his promise? Look at the message that he has been giving us. This was critical to so many people. What was the message that he has been giving us on health care in the past? Watch.
If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period.
If you've got health insurance, you like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan.
No matter what you've heard,
If you like your doctor or health care plan, you can keep it. Under the reform we seek, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
Got it. Okay. You know, that last second before last one, he said, no matter what you've heard, he was really referring to people like me. Because at that time, they were calling us liars. Oh, that's not in there. Of course, you're going to be able to, stop the fear-mongering. I want you to listen carefully to what he said just a couple of days ago. Listen carefully.
You know, we said from the start that it was going to be important for us to be consistent in saying to people, if you can have if you want to keep the health insurance you got, you can keep it. That you're not going to have anybody getting in between you and your doctor in your decision making. And I think that some of the provisions that got snuck in might have violated that pledge.
Wow. I mean, we could do an hour just on this. Tonight, I want you just to carefully focus in on what he was saying. It's not just a broken promise. Look at this. I want to show you the full quote here. We said from the start. Now listen, this is a guy who's just been, somebody snuck in that you're not going to be able to get your doctor. And he promised you, don't listen to those crazy people. You're going to do it. This is his response. We said from the start that it was going to be important for us to be consistent in saying to people that you can have it if you want to keep your health insurance you got, you can keep it. You're not going to have anybody getting in between you and your doctor decision making. You got it? This wasn't just a broken promise. It was a careful unveiling of the truth. We have said from the start that it was going to be important for us to say. This is a glimpse to their inside conversations. And let me ask you this. When you get down to this line, and I think some of the provisions that got snuck in might have violated that pledge. We're not talking about a little pledge. We're talking about you being able to keep your doctor. Now, let's say I'm the President of the United States. I'm on TV, and I'm saying, don't listen to these people. They're crazy. And a guy like me is on television saying, you can't listen. You're not going to get your doctor. They're lying to you. His credibility is on the line just as much as my credibility was on the line. Now, if that's the case, and you find out that somebody snuck stuff in, which makes what I and others like me were saying to be accurate, don't you give this speech? Wouldn't he now come to us and say, look at America, I gave you my word. I told you don't listen to them, that they were wrong. But some of the members in Congress or somebody else in the administration have slipped provisions into this bill that have violated my promise to you. My word is my bond. That's all we got with each other. Trust, hope. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm stopping this process until we can fix it and I can find the weasels that did it and I can tell you and look you in the eye and say, it is true. You can keep your doctor and fulfill my promise to you. Well, let me tell you something. Not only would that be the right thing for any president to do, his approval ratings would go through the roof. People would actually say, okay, now wait a minute, if he's going to do that, I might actually listen to him. But no. He says, we said from the start it was going to be important for us to be consistent in saying to people. Come on. They knew they'd have to say that to get it passed. Wait until you see what we have tomorrow for you. This is not minor campaign misspeak, or is it? You have to decide. Was this deliberate? Is this appropriate, his response? I want to talk directly to anybody who might be watching me and you know, they're like, oh, that Glenn Beck guy, he just wants to slaughter people. If you voted for him or not, please, let's have an honest conversation here for just a second. I don't care if he's the president or not the president. I just want the truth. Without getting into your face, I just want to know, his post-State of the Union bump, his approval rating is up to 50. I don't understand that. Because if you bought into what he was saying about hope and change, has he done any of it?